Welcome, friends. If you're new, what's going on? My name is Stormy Calder. Welcome to the channel. This video is going to be maybe on sync, maybe a little bit different than what I normally do, but we're gonna create a mood here. So I'm gonna riff and talk about authenticity and what authenticity means, and whatever comes through in that. I'm also gonna try, okay, I've never tried this before on a stream, but we're gonna try it because I'm into experimentation. I've got some ice cream. I'm gonna talk about the inner child, and I'm going to potentially eat that ice cream while I talk. I'm not sure. I don't know how this is gonna go, but I'm gonna try it. All right. What else do I want to say? If you guys have questions about authenticity, please drop them in the comments, or feel free to leave a comment after the stream and I will answer them in the comments as well. I'm always curious to what you guys think of as far as what is radical authenticity or confidence or accessing your higher self through the inner child, all of those topics, because I have really embodied this work. I just am the living embodiment of authenticity. So sometimes I forget, like, oh, how exactly do people think, or what exact questions would you have for me to break down? It's kind of like when you see a chef baking a cake and maybe they don't have the recipe that they know. They just like reach for handfuls of things and it always comes out perfect. That's me in authenticity. So this is my effort with you guys. Feel free to slow me down and ask me how I have built an authentic lifestyle in everything that I do. My character is purely authentic, and that's not always the easiest thing to do. Those of you that saw my last couple videos, I talk about, and maybe check them out, I talk about authenticity and why it's so difficult for people. Why there are a lot of like phony authentics, you know, people that just, they claim to be authentic, but they're not truly. It's more of like an act, whereas actual authenticity is really about self-validation, completing your own needs, showing up the way that you need to show up in any or all situations. And it really is a practice. And I'm going to kind of riff and go into that and eat some ice cream and be stormy. Okay. That's what I've got. I'm also going to tell you guys a little bit about my program, Break the Mold, which is currently open for enrollment, maybe throughout and or like at the end of the stream. I would love to see you guys in that program. So to just tell you a little bit about it, Break the Mold is my radical authenticity and supreme confidence program. And a couple of years ago, I built the program as an ascension map for confidence because I knew I was like, people in the future, because I know my own work and I really embody my spiritual work every day. And I was like, people in the future are going to see the future version of myself, which is now here today, right? And they're going to be like, oh, she's just effortlessly like that, because I am effortlessly confident, but it wasn't always that way. So I built the ascension map while I was really holding myself to it spiritually so that I could share it, because I knew at some point in the future I was just going to be mixing up my cake and my perfection, like baking these perfect cakes that everyone loves, with my content and my personality. And I was like, I'm never going to remember like how I built this, because of the way that I embody my spiritual work. You guys will see I teach really frequently, because once I embody it, which can be done in sometimes a couple of weeks, sometimes it's in a few months, sometimes it's in a year, like I let it go and it just kind of integrates into my system and I become it. So Break the Mold is the map for confidence, for authenticity, for letting go of negative attachment patterns in relationships, understanding how to move through your relationships with a focus on the self being in balance and in harmony, knowing what you need, what other people need, and whether or not you can service them or whether or not they can service you. It's really an understanding of authenticity, of balance, of confidence, of what takes your confidence away, about what gives you confidence. It's understanding your inner power and your own personal alignment to your soul, your power, your personal power, which is your confidence, your solar plexus, how you move through this world, how you connect to your heart, how you connect to your desires. And this program teaches you how to hear and listen to the heart for intuition. Most people are pretty terrible at understanding heart-based intuition, but are much better at understanding the psychic intuition that comes from the mind and the crown chakra. I teach all of the different intuition systems. So Break the Mold is specifically focused on the language of the heart, which is frequently the language of the inner child, or at least that's what I'm channeling through today, and that is included in the program as well. So if you guys are interested, check out the link in the description below. There's a code at checkout you can use. It is authenticity, and that will give you a nice promo. Okay, so I'm gonna glance through some of the comments for my women, for my loves, my clients, my people. I will be looking for you. The rest of these I will either ignore or I will go on a comedy rant, depending on how I feel. We'll see. I'm a little more calm today. Thank you, my friends, for those of you that pop in. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do, this is part of my authenticity stream. Today I was like, I wanna shoot a live stream, but I don't feel like I'm in my performance typically. And what I wanted to show you guys is you don't have to be in performance when you're authentic. You just are authentic. You are completely yourself. And I wanted to shoot a stream with ice cream. So here's what I got. Okay, this is my dinner, but don't freak out because I have a very different diet than most people. So I've already had like 2 huge green juices. I've already drank all my vegetables today. I have a banana. Okay. My secret, you guys, it's either these or like any of there are so many companies now that make the peanut butter cups that are like super low sugar, if any. What does this one have? Like 2 grams of sugar, that's fine. I don't do this all the time, but this is my inner child vibe, okay? I have non-dairy ice cream. It's like super, I don't know, it's super low cal. I try to keep things like easy for my body to digest. It's really low in sugar. And this is how I give my inner child its fix to like feel satiated and good while maintaining my adult mindset, which is like, we're gonna keep things like healthy. Like there's nothing not healthy about this. Is it junk food? Like for me, yeah. But it's also like the healthiest probably junk food that I could get. Now, being that I'm talking about the inner child, why is the inner child so important? There are 2 forms of the inner child. There's the wounded inner child and there is the divine inner child. The divine inner child is the form of your highest self. It is the aspect of your soul that is in innocence and childlike expression and form. Many people don't lead their lives with their inner child because they're afraid of being judged for being childlike. But it's not to be childish and it's not to be immature. It's the aspect of the soul that is free. It's the part of the soul that is awakened in a way that is so curious and so adventurous and so open and so vulnerable that it's willing to express the child aspects of the self that not nearly enough adults express, which is why most adults have destructive behaviors in other ways. And the most honest destructive behavior are toxic relationships in one way or another. This is my jam. Okay, this is like, I hope I inspire some of the people on my stream to go do this or go do it with your kids, you know? This is not my favorite brand of ice cream, but this is the one that I found. So whatever. Anyway, it's vanilla. I'm going to chop up 2 of these, what are these called? I don't know. Peanut butter cups. Toss them in here, maybe with a little bit of banana. And I'm doing this as an experiment. So, you know, I mean, it's going to be good. And I'm talking about authenticity. So you guys will get my little live stream workshop at the same time. Oh my God, these comments are so funny. Where are my women at? Where do all you guys come from? Where are you guys in the world? Tell me that. tell me that. All right. Give me 2 seconds. I'm setting up my ice cream. And then I'm going to dish out my guidance. I will dish out my guidance. Okay. What else did I want to talk about? When we're talking about working with the higher self, becoming the higher self, I think that's where I'm going to dive in. I also like, you know, what's so funny about me is I have trouble multitasking. I know it's like not a feminine thing. I'm like, how am I going to cut the banana and talk at the same time? I'm like, I don't know if that can happen. So if you're wondering what authenticity is, this is authentic for me, but authenticity is so personal, obviously, to every single person, that you really need to maintain your core as far as what works for you and what feels pleasant and comfortable for you for creative expression, which is not necessarily what I do. And the reason why I say that is because I find a lot of people copy me or try to wear my energy, which happens with anyone that's doing anything that other people like. And I'm saying this is like a caution for you guys to remember that your value is with you. Like, meaning you have your own valuables inside of yourself. Your inner child expresses himself likely in a different way that I do. And that's something I would encourage you to work with. Okay. This is like quite a challenge for me. Yo, some people do hot wings. Like, maybe I'll like bring people on for my episodes and we'll eat ice cream. Like, what do you think? Like, ice cream and spirit talk? Can that be a thing? Can I think and eat at the same time? I don't know. This is my jam. You guys, what looks more like this is fucking awesome. Like, what? What? I'm on a live stream eating peanut butter cups, ice cream, and bananas. Okay. I really can't. It's like I'll have a thought and then it runs away because I'm like, ice cream! We're here for it. Spirit, what do you want to say through me today? Authenticity is about being mean internally to anything that would take you out of your sweetness. This is like the sweetest thing I could do for myself today. Being authentic isn't just being sweet. It's not just being personally expressive. It's not just being confident. It's like all the aspects of yourself. It's also setting boundaries. It's also telling people when they're way off about you. It's also knocking bullies in the face. It's just as much, I can call it like an aggressive assertiveness, as it is like a really gentle, peaceful flow. I think where most people stumble with authenticity is that they think other people will think they're more authentic or more trustworthy if they perform in a certain way. So then they place on masks to their character and masks onto their personality. Like, for example, what I could do with you guys, which I don't, is I'm like, my brand is a spiritual brand. I'm in like the guru territory. I'm like, well, what would I do if I wanted to wear a mask to be authentic and sell myself out to get more, I don't know, get more likes, vibes, views, what have you, is I would wear all white all the time. I'd be really softly spoken. I would never swear. I would never tell someone off on a stream. I would just float away on some little blissful cloud. And God, I mean, I almost wish I could do that, but like life of hard knocks for someone like me is extraordinarily intense, and I just can't. I can't float away like that. And the piece of that I want you guys to understand, those of you that follow people similar to me, those of us that are doing very, very intense spiritual work regularly, channels, diviners, shamans, mediums, we are just like, gosh, I mean, when you have to embody the practice, and some people aren't, most people aren't, but there are a lot of us that are. Myself, for sure. When you embody the practice, spirit is constantly challenging you. There's no like, there's no like daisy path through, like, it's so easy. Those of us that are doing the most of this work, like you guys will hear, some of you will resonate with the term the chosen ones. I didn't resonate with that for the longest time. And the more that I'm understanding it, I'm like, oh, right. Some of us are literally born into these spiritual missions, and we have the most intense paths because we have to manage the 3D reality and we have to manage the 5D reality. And when you're in the 5D reality, you can see between the veil. So it's not just like whatever consciousness lives in humanity that's confronting me. I'm also dealing with major spiritual warfare daily. So we'll go straight there. This is part about being authentic. I'm just going to be really real with you guys. So some of what I've had to deal with this week is healing some really, really deep parts of my inner child and my inner teen in ways that were so confronting. Like, this work at this point is easy for me, easy in the way that I could do it in 12 hours or do it over a couple days pretty quickly or do it in a few hours. But man, the realizations that I've come to in the last 2 days, if things like that had hit somebody in their first, I don't know, wave of awakening, it would knock them out. like spirit is a heavy hitter with me, and people that do work similar to me. It's just like, I don't know, it's compounding interest on spiritual work, compounding interest on psychic attack. That's a nice way of saying spiritual warfare. What's spiritual warfare? Oh my gosh. If you guys don't understand unseen forces, every time I make a move with my light, there are these sweeping energies that generally come from other humans, also other entity types, that come and attack me with it. And it comes through humans, it comes through people, it comes through moods, it comes through environments. Like, I mean, you're sensitive. When you do this work, I'm so sensitive that any shift it's a big deal. And I have to process it through fairly immediately. It's the inside scoop. Now, those of you that want your spiritual work to be easier, which, I mean, you're not going to have it as hard as me or the people that do the work like me if it's not your, like, if you weren't born for it. Like, it's like a spiritual path. You can't get away from it if you're made for it. I make spiritual ascension work much easier because I'm doing so much work on my side, literally every day of my life, in prayer and meditation, in sacred ceremony, shadow integration. Everything through my life is a spiritual act for me. So coming into harmony between that, understanding what I see between the veil, understanding what's real, what's not, what needs to be handled now, what's a threat, what's not. There are many threats, there are many pretend threats, there are things that come through with such a level of fervor, like the last few days. I obviously will not give details, but just the level of karmic repair that I did through my own sacred realization within the inner child work that I was doing. And by doing, I just mean I'm living my life, but because of my spiritual channel, spirit is whispering and talking in my ears, bringing up memories, making me process them. They get very emotional. Because honest to God, I don't know how else to say. I almost hate saying it too, because I just want to like float off and be like, everything's great, you guys. But I've had a really, really hard life, a really hard life. And yesterday it became even more clear just how hard of a life I've had. I was just like, oh wow, those were very unsexy realizations. I could not have handled that a year ago. But now that I hear it, I see it, and I understand that I carried everyone in my life. When you're spiritual, when you're highly spiritual, which again, I'm going to say is in that chosen category, if that resonates for you guys. You're supplying the spiritual energy for the people around you. So like everyone I knew maybe until 10 years ago, I don't know, I was carrying spiritually. And I didn't know that. And you can think about spiritual energy like bank money. It's like financial money. So if you're a multi-millionaire and then you're taking care of lots of humans, like they're all living under your house or what have you, like you're spending a lot of money. The same thing goes for highly attuned spiritual humans that come in for these tasks. We have a certain amount of power, a certain amount of spirit money, and then we're just like paying the bills for everybody, and it's exhausting until you realize, oh, I don't have to pay those bills. Those weren't my bills to pay. They're not even in my soul family. Like, those MFers were stealing shit from me. They were just thieving. They thought I wasn't gonna find out. That's what karma is. It's the realization, oh my God, those are those patterns. That's that behavior. I just awoke into the whole understanding of what I grew up in. Okay. Well, I call it all back. Where are my clients and my subscribers? I saw the word Sanskrit. I'm into that. There's 140 people in here. Like, what? Those of you that follow my lives probably weren't expecting ice cream today. That's what we got today. So interesting. This is melting super fast too, so I don't know how much more of this I can do. I'm probably gonna have to put it away and then I'll actually just talk. Stepping into your higher self is a daily activation. It is a daily practice. People think of their higher selves as like a separate aspect of themselves. And for most people, it is separate because it's separate until you learn how to merge it and work with it. So most people authentically connect with their higher selves with a really spotty connection. It's not very consistent. And you actually do have to develop a relationship with your higher self, like you do with the human you want to see. So if you're not consistent with your practice, then your higher self relationship is going to be really spotty. When you're occupying the state of your higher self, you want to become your higher self. I think that's the goal truly in your awakening, is to become the highest self through your humanity. Now, when I talk about that, I'm working a lot with the inner child, not the wounded inner child, but the divine inner child, because the higher self, when you really develop a wonderful relationship with it and become it, it learns to trust you. And the higher self speaks a lot through the inner child. So it'll be like, go play, go touch that tree, go get ice cream. Because it's flowing through the path of least resistance through your life in a way that's usually fun. Now, there's another side to the higher self that I don't tap into as much because I don't need it, but many of you just starting, the higher self comes in like a, get it together. The higher self can be super tough loving, very tough loving, or we'll just give you a tiny little carrot because they'll be like, I don't want to scare you off, so I won't give you the tough love. But like, if you don't take that carrot, there's a hammer coming down the road. Not from me, not from the higher self, from your karma. From, what's karma? The choices that you make, the choices that your family made for you, the choices of your environment, the choices of every choice you make every day. That's your karma. What's the result, the cause and effect of the choices. Our higher selves work avidly to steer us away from poor choices towards good choices and into atonement to resolve choices that we've made that keep us in internal conflict. I'm also just gonna say, because I'm spinning through the comments, like, you guys, you're not in my audience, just peace out. Look at this. I found a babe in here, though. Melissa and Liz. The women are in my audience. Welcome. If you're new, welcome. I'm happy to see you and meet you through my screen. Who are these people? They're so mean. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna take like 2 more bites of this. This just felt the most authentic for me today. That's the thing about authenticity. You can run from it, you can try to pretend, but the truth is, it's like, who are you? It's a very simple question to ask, and I go through an entire 12-week program on how to get you there, because most people can't answer it. Like, for example, oh gosh, I don't even know this, but this memory is coming through, so clearly Spirit wants me to go here. The first shaman I worked with, my first coach, asked me one day, he was like, who are you? And I was like, I'm the sort of person that always gets knocked down and gets back up again. Like, I was like, when life comes at me, I like punch my way through. Like, I find my way through, in a much more aggressive way. I'm still this human, but the perspective that it showed me is that I was approaching life from the point of looking for obstacles. When you're a hammer, everything's a nail. I was looking for obstacles. I was looking for fights. I was looking for conflict because I had so much pent up creative energy that wasn't allowed to be expressed, that I couldn't express for many, many, many reasons earlier in my life. Gosh, ice cream is distracting. I'm so relaxed now. Okay, I'm taking 1 more bite, and I'm gonna put this in my freezer, and I'm gonna come back and do my full guidance, okay? And thank you for all of you that are here. Thank you for those of you that watched through this 27 minutes with me eating ice cream. I think I will inspire you to do your own version of this. That's what I'm here to do. All right, Spirit, sync me up. Let me give you the scoop. Oh my gosh, that's what I should have called the stream, the scoop. I like never eat in front of people either. This is fun. Those of you that don't know me, experimentation is like my way through life, so welcome. We're experimenting through, huh? Maybe next time you'll see me in a onesie. I don't know if that'll happen, but okay. Oh, I feel so relaxed though. I'm gonna pull a couple cards and we'll just keep going. What do we most need to know right now about occupying the state of authenticity through the higher self? Oh my gosh, I don't know if I know how to say this word. First off is the seeker, thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are. That's kind of what I was just saying. It's like experimentation. It's like walking into, I mean, he's walking through the desert, probably looking for an oasis. The deal with Spirit is you just never know what you're gonna get. You really have to commit to your path. You have to commit to seeing it through, because Spirit isn't going to take you on a logical and linear path. Like, it's just not what it does. And that's what freaks people out the most. And it's because you don't know your relationship yet to your higher self. My path, I don't know that I would call it linear, but it is much more linear than is typical because I professionally read for a living, because I understand how spirit speaks and works. And on that, something I've been just really seeing and realizing recently a ton is just like the way the simulation runs, the way spirit runs, like our personal karmas, the cause and effect of every choice that we make every day, and what we think through the day has such immediate, reliable impacts. Like the cause and effect is real, and I can track a lot of it. And it kind of drives me insane to know that most people don't know this. I'm like, oh my God, they just did that. They have no idea what's coming next, but I do because I know how the simulation runs. I know how the holograph works. Now, it's also challenging to manage the reality from that position of mindfulness and self-realization, because it's like every choice, every thought does have a reaction. Frequently not things we like. So it's about attuning yourself to creation. What am I creating? Why am I creating it? And how mindful am I about what I'm thinking and what I'm creating? I was just going to say, a lot of people create from default. Everyone creates from default. If you are creating actively and intentionally, you are a minority. Every thought creates, every emotion creates, every mistake creates, every action creates. And for most people, understanding that level of the program, and I always think about spiritual program as a computer program, as a simulation. If you knew the degree to which the puzzle pieces get locked in through the day based on how you think, feel, and perceive, and based on what you do or don't do, inaction is just as much of an action as forward action. It would drive most people nuts because they'd be like, oh, I don't know. And that's why spirituality is not linear. That's why your path is not linear. And that's what freaks people out about it. It can't be linear because if you actually could see beyond the veil, the program code, you'd be so overwhelmed, you would just go back to drinking. It's just like, you're like, that's too much. And spirit knows that. Spirit knows that. So when you start working with your higher self, which is to tap into your original authenticity, it's your code. That has to be fine-tuned and developed. It has to be refined. It's not just going to come overnight. So when you're working with your higher self builds trust through its leadership and your ability to follow and to surrender. So it will give you a hunch. It will give you a sign. It will give you a synchronicity. It'll give you an instinct, and it'll see what you do with it. If you pass that, they're all tests. If you pass that test, and spirit will go, oh, okay, I can give them a little bit more. Okay, I can give them a little bit more. Oh, that didn't go well. Nope, too much. A little less, a little less, a little less. Which is, again, why spirit's not as linear, because spirit is actually intuitively kind of raising you as a child into an adult spiritual personality. I'm in like that adult category, which is ironic where people are like, how are you so innocent? And I'm like, the more awake you become, the more innocent and the more childlike you express your freedom in that way, because there's so little attachment, because it's like, oh, I can just see the computer program running. Oh yeah, that event happened because I was thinking that way. Or for those of you that need to know this, I'll go into this in a couple of ways. The world is a mirror. It's a mirror of you. It's a mirror of what you think and feel, and what you project out into reality gets mirrored back to you. Also, we live in a hall of mirrors. Everybody else is also doing mirror techniques. Everyone else is also manifesting and living their life and on their programs. And we are also involved in their simulation. So, someone can create something that is not a direct reflection on you. Which I love to talk about that, because it stumped me for years. I was like, is that a reflection of me? I don't understand. I would try to fix myself when other people were doing crazy shit. And it's like, no, truly, they're running their own simulations. Like, they have their own belief systems. It's just up to you as far as whether or not you want to take it on. So I had some things happen recently where I was just like, this is a lot of drama. And You created that, not me. like other humans created that, not me. And I was like, I'm not picking that up. Like, I respect your ability to create your reality, but you're not making my reality difficult. Like, that's not gonna happen because I'm running my simulation. And I can dodge bullets like it's my job. What's a bullet for someone like me? It's just emotional stuff. I'm like, I just don't want your drama. Like, get out. I have so many boundaries around emotional drama. I'm like, if it's drama, it's walking out the door. Like, and that's part of actually, I want to pull a card, but something that I wanted to talk about in this stream is that, okay, this is the channel I got today. You gotta accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, and don't mess with Mr. In Between. That's the code. My guides sing that to me when they need me to think positively. Accentuate the positive. Whatever's going on that's positive in your life, be grateful for it, amplify it. Literally look for any reason you possibly can to amplify it. Eliminate the negative. Negative things, negative people, negative situations, drama. Drama. I literally told someone today, I was like, you can choose faith or you can choose fear. I choose faith. I'm not getting on that train with you if you choose fear. Like, I'm just not. Drama's not for me. This is already mapped out. I already know how to handle it. This is easy. Stop making this difficult. A lot of people that are less aware make things difficult because they don't know any other way of being. They derive their security with other relationships and people around them from their ability to create drama and create chaos, to then have something to fuck around with, to manipulate, to control, to create. Because the truth is, you're creating all the time. Are you creating drama or are you creating something you want? When you're not creating something you want, you automatically will start creating drama. It's law. As I was singing the song, the elixir of life came out. It's just, it's the fountain of youth. The fountain of youth is the inner child. It's the divine inner child. I'm so happy you guys are here with me. This is a much more go with the flow stream for me because this is where I was at today. And on the typical aspect of creation here, with me creating, me experimenting, I wanted to show up on a live stream. That's authentic for me. I wanted to create, and I also wanted to honor my current energy levels and my mood. And I wanted to do something new. So I combined all three things together, and then we see how it goes. You know? And that's really how anything goes. You detach from the outcome. Did I know if this is going to go well or not? No. I just know that I'm comfortable with myself to show up and have a blessed day. The blessings compound. Okay, I'm going to skim through your comments, then I'm going to go back to my... Is there anything here? I don't see anything I need to respond to. I'm only looking through the comments because my intention was for my community that had questions. I would feel free to answer them. Are you guys kids? Are these kids in my stream? You're like a bunch of 15-year-olds. That would make a lot more sense. I'm like, oh, there are a bunch of teens in here. That's totally what's going on. Being authentic is about claiming responsibility for yourself and how you act and think. It's about claiming responsibility over your perspective on how you see yourself and others. It's about claiming responsibility over your responses, what you allow and what you don't allow into your energy. I love to say it that way because I think it just took me a very, very long time to learn this particular lesson, which is if people are abusive or harmful or they hurt you in one way or another, generally speaking, that happens because we allow it. And that's not to demean or diminish any like childhood wounding patterns or trauma patterns or trauma responses. I'm just kind of making it black and white so it's easy to see, which is like, you can use your voice, you can use your body to remove yourself from situations most of the time. You can change your perspective, you can change your mind, you can change your thoughts, you can change the communication that you have with others. You can try new things. Something I embrace very, very actively as a daily practice is like exploration, experimentation. And I think most adults are so rigid in their thinking, even spiritual people, spiritual adults, they forget that experimentation is part of the process of learning, that play is the part of the process of learning, or they remember these things through having children, which I think is a lot of the benefit of having kids around, is that they teach you in a way where you remember what it is to actually learn, what it is to actually participate in your life without attaching to the outcome. Kids just do what they do, man. My inner child just ate ice cream. Like, they just do what they do. And they learn through the process. I'm like, should I go into what I've learned here? What I've learned here is that was enjoyable. That was interesting. Do I think it worked? I think it worked in the way that it needed to. Will I do this every time I stream? Absolutely not. Did I think this would be a fun example for people to realize like that you can do things that are different? Like, yes. And it's not even that crazy. Like, it's not that crazy. I just ate ice cream on a live stream. It's not insane. But when you think about it in terms of professionalism, it's like, why would you ever do that? It's like, well, why not? Try it. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Somebody's gonna be like, that was rad, I'm gonna eat ice cream now. Like, I don't know, it's only benefit, but that's the way that I see. Those are my skills of perception that I've developed. And that's really important to understand for yourself. How do you see? Do you see through problems or do you see through opportunities? When you're working through the consciousness of the higher self sees an opportunity. They guide us based in opportunity. If you are not available for opportunistic thinking with spirit and or you don't listen, then they move through problems. It depends on how you learn and how aware you are. So I have cultivated through the last 15 years, I learn based on what I call carrots. So when spirit whispers in my ear gently, I move. Like, I'm like, just lead me to the good things. Lead me to what feels good and feels happy. And that's how I do my ascension practice. Of course, I also will move based on problems or fears, but it's far less in my consciousness. Like, my spirit guides know that it's harder to get me to move out of fear than it is out of love and out of pure delight. I'm just like, delight? Like, yeah. Like, I'm here for it. But fear, I'm like, I need to wait. Is that real? Do I, like, I kind of like tap out. Earlier in my personal development, I only learned through fear. I only learned through consequence. I only learned through like, what has the biggest stakes? And let me manage it that way. So your higher self will meet you based in your own consciousness and where you are. Even as I'm talking through this, I'm like, man, I could probably do an entire program on just the higher self because there's no one way the higher self speaks. It's a professional full-time job for me to I'm not managing my relationship with my higher self, but to continue the dialogue, because my higher self also changes its form occasionally, because as you ascend, your higher self ascends too. As you ascend, your lower soul ascends as well and can change forms. And then you got to get to know the new form, and the new form has a little bit of a different language and a little bit of a different way of prompting you into action. The higher self also, it's so interesting is that I hear my higher self with specific direction because that's what works best for me. But for some people, depending on who you are and where you are in your own personal development work and what it gets you to move, or whether or not you take your higher guidance for granted or not, which they don't take on to very well. You want to be grateful for them. Otherwise they won't give to you as much. They're like, ugh, human. If you don't learn as well through like immediate listening, intuitive listening, whatever that is for you, could be perceiving, seeing, what have you, the higher self can teach you through just pulling the plug and being like, you'll figure it out. Like, can you find your way back to me? And they're always watching you, but it depends on how active your personal connection is. Do you have a spotty connection or do you have a regular connection? You guys can let me know too if you want a program on this. Maybe I'll do a mini course or maybe I'll do a full course on it at some point. Or I could maybe place this in source code. That's something I can think about as well for my program. Oh, Kira. Hi, thank you. I'm happy to shout you out. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for watching. Oh. Jada, is that how you say it? Jada? I ignore my highest self a lot after recently, never again. It's hard, dude. Like, when I started my journey, I mean, we all go through phases because we don't completely understand the consequences and or the language that they speak, because everyone's higher self speaks a slightly different language. When I work with people or when I work with groups, I'm translating on behalf of everyone through the language that my higher self speaks through me, that my divine source connection, the Most High, speaks through me. So it comes through one channel, one language. But everybody learns a little bit differently. And it really is a language. And these are things that I think really should be taught in schools as well. And I just don't, like, humanity's not there. But like understanding your higher self, spiritual intuition, and karma is a really big deal. I know karma's spoken about a lot, but I don't think people really understand it. It truly is like you're running your body, your higher self, everything you are running, your higher self, and frequently the higher self is separate from the human until you learn how to sync it up. You're running a program, a computer program, and every move you make, every thought you think, every breath you take, you're entering program, you're entering code, you're submitting actions. And it's like, how aware are you? This is where mindfulness practices come in really well. It's like becoming aware of what you think, how you move, how you perceive, and why, and then giving that time for that observational period to just be like, that's interesting. And it's something I do a lot. I'm just like, that's interesting. That's interesting. All right, that's interesting. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. Hi, Shelly. Life with Scarlett, yes. Hi, love. As I kind of do more, I really like this kind of stream that maybe I'll do here and there occasionally. I do like it. We just need to figure out how to get the right people in here, you know? Like, I would love to respond to lots of, like, people in my community commenting. When I hear ice cream, I can't help but think of cake. I mean, you can do cake. I'm not a very cake person. But a cake stream. Eat cake. Okay, hold on. I'll get back into my thing here. I feel so split when I'm reading comments. I am in Los Angeles. Jada, if you want, they're in my, actually any of you guys, but if you're looking to develop that relationship a little more closely, if you go into the description below, I have a bunch of free trainings. One of them is an Akashic Records training. That's free. It's a bunch of videos that take you through getting into your Akashic Records, which is always like the first step that I do with with personal development work, spiritual work, because the Akashic records help to train you. They train you and they train your higher self simultaneously to develop I'm going to say that relationship, but when most people go into their Akashic records for the first time in meditation, they just like, it's just like a blank slate. You're just like, what am I doing in here? But it's being done in your spiritual energy. I look like the actor from Jurassic Park. Who's that? Do I look like a dinosaur? Okay, wait, there are too many comments actually. I can't even read through them. I'm just not in my moody side right now. That would just tear you all apart. On another stream, I'm in my sweet side right now, and I'm staying here. Thank you very much. Oh, I can't pay attention to this anymore. Okay. Back to the higher self. Also, those of you that end up watching this through that are in my typical clan, let me know what you think feedback-wise, if this is something you enjoy or that you like sitting through, or if there's enough value through the stream itself. The thing about live streaming, the way that I typically treat it is more like a value delivery system. The thing about what's happening right now with the amount of people that are in this room is that live streaming can be used in another content strategy way, which is to rack up YouTube views, which is going to change how the algorithm works with me. So I might do this a little bit more to work with my own content strategy as like a separate sort of live stream, if that makes sense for you guys. And I might try to think about how to label that out, because I want to make sure you guys get what you want from me. So if I'm much more lackadaisical about it, maybe I'll just call them AMAs and ice cream, so you know that that's what this is. And the ones that are more value driven or readings, I will label as readings. Probably that is where I will go with this. This is a whole thing. One day I will just come in here and just rip on every single one of these comments. I'm just not feeling it right now. Okay. What else do I want to say about the higher self? You know what I'll say concretely is that the relationship with the higher self develops your authenticity. I don't think you can be a purely, I've never had this thought, but I'm working it through right now. I don't think you can be a purely authentic human personality without the higher self. You couldn't. So when we're dealing with that, it's the nature versus nurture. If you don't have the nurture, which is the soul, or sorry, the nature, which is the soul, then you're strictly relying on nurture, which is fate. It's how you were raised. It's generational programming. And that's not authentic in the way that I would describe it. Authenticity has to do with your pure soul essence expressing itself through your waking life as openly and responsibly and innocently as it can, while maintaining your value, maintaining your valuables, your virtues, and learning the hard skills of navigating through humanity, human conflict, human interaction, while knowing what to hold back, what to share. How to set boundaries is just so important in every way spiritually, and in every way for anyone that's authentic. The boundaries have to be so clear. They don't have to be violent, they just have to be clear. And when those boundaries are confronted, you set them again and again and again and again. One of my favorite tools is silence. Silence is an amazing boundary. You don't always have to be vocal about your boundaries. You can say a lot through a look. You can say a lot through inaction. You can say a lot through just letting things go. It's probably one of my favorites. I had to learn to get feisty. So now I'm like kind of feisty about my boundaries because that's where I am in my process. So I want to tell you guys a little bit about my program, Break the Mold. That's where I'm being led into next. It is my program on radical authenticity. It's the map that I built to care for my inner child, to reparent my inner child, reparent my inner teen, acknowledge and understand my rebellious nature, acknowledge and understand my very, very sweetly saintly nature, and learn how to keep the saintly side of me, which a lot of you have, especially the women. That's the crystalline heart frequency. That's your ability to see other people's potential, see the good in people, love, even when things don't deserve love, like they're being mean, you're able to love through it. So that the saintly side, the crystalline, the angelic side needs protection. And then being able to harness that rebellious side of yourself, which is the human personality, and with tact, in whatever way that is for you, which is a little bit different for everyone, refine it so that you can effortlessly move through the chaotic structure of what is a very conflicted planet and use the rebellious side of yourself, that primal instinct, to bulldoze your way through situations, to create a path where none exists. And then the crystalline frequency of your life force, of your light, of your heart, of your soul follows behind the bulldozer side and provides the spirit, provides the inspiration, provides the love. And I know in spiritual everything, everybody's always outwardly focused with compassion, outwardly focused with love, and that's just the first step. Once you master outward compassion, most people work through outward compassion until there's like nothing internal. And I know I certainly went there. And then the script flips spiritually for your spiritual ascension process, where then all of the focus turns back on the self. And it's like, oh, well, okay, well, I learned how to love outwardly. I learned how to love the mirrors. Now, how do I love the creator? How do I be self-focused to be self-compassionate to such a great degree that I can be love as the movement. I don't need to love someone. I don't need to project love. I just am the love. I know that'll sound very like heady, esoteric. I don't know. It'll sound very woo-woo, but that it really is the way through. And it's so funny because the more I master, I just continually master these frequencies, these understandings. I'm like, oh gosh, it just sounds so simple when it comes out of my mouth. But the simplest concepts are so effing difficult to master. They're so hard. So when I say be the love, I'm like, oh, it's so sweet. I'm like, what does that mean? I'm like, oh my God, I could teach an entire program on it. It's hard. It's hard. That's the authenticity. It's you being. Your being becomes the change agent. You being who you are and maintaining your own connection to yourself and to source. Understanding your balance between your human and your soul is the change. You change when you're in that state of awareness, you change things around you just by being present, just by vibrating. You know, like we're not actually solid. Like, yes, I am matter, I have bones, but this is all vibrating. Every cell is vibrating and they're not actually secure and solid. I mean, they are, but everything is just vibrating at a rate that looks solid. And then outside of the energy field, we have everything is vibrating outside of what we can't see, right? And it's all vibrating around you. And all of that is energy and all of that is communicating information. So when you are the most authentic, when you are radically authentic and you have a robust connection to your soul through your heart and through your authenticity, which is how I work that ascension process, and that's what I teach, then when you walk into a room, you change the energy of the entire room because you have a vibration, and that vibration, when it meets other vibrations, vibrates them, and then they start to vibrate in sync. Or they vibrate in harmony or dissonance, right? And if they vibrate in dissonance, you can feel that. So if I feel off when I enter a room, I leave, because there's something in that room that is not in harmony with my frequency. Now, I'm a powerful person. I'm a powerful creator. So when I walk into a room, generally speaking, my frequency is dominating over other frequencies. So that there isn't usually a huge conflict. Or if there are conflicts, I live in a metro area. Like, God knows, you know, I mean, when you're a bright light, like it's moth to a flame, man. Like, there are conflicts, but they never overcome anything about me. I just handle them, and they are transmuted through the process of bumping into me in one way or another. Which is a lot of my soul contracts, is like, oh, I woke them up in a different way. Like, they weren't working with me. They were the person smoking on the patio right next to my face. Like, that's like... that one's not recent, but that happened one time. I was like, would you mind not smoking? And he was like, yeah, I do mind, actually. And I was like, that's interesting. I was like, well, it's not legal to smoke here, so you're gonna have to leave. And then he got up in my face, and I was like, this is the end of this. Like, I don't deal with abuse. And then I went inside, and I told this was at a coffee shop, I told one of the baristas what was going on, and I went straight to a man, because man to man is the only way that shit could be handled. The women were like, well, I was like, no. That's one of those sorts of men that needs a man. And I was like, he's the biggest one. And I was like, I need you. And I was like, I feel threatened, upset, I'm shaking. I was like, will you please go handle that, dude? And he handled it perfectly. Big brother the fuck up. Like, it's like, great. Done. My spicy side's coming out because of some of these comments, but I don't want that out right now. It's so fun though. This is like, you guys you're in my room. I've already changed you. You're in this vibration. Even you spit your shit. Your demonic entities can't live in my space. They've already been agitated. Let's agitate ourselves and say ridiculous things to store me on the internet. I've got like a bunch of 17-year-olds in here. Like 18. How old are you guys? You gotta be teens, or you're very immature adults that are living with your moms in basements playing video games. There's a lot of you out there. I feel bad. I feel bad for you. I don't. I've already changed you. I've already changed you. That's the beauty of my soul contracts. Spirit meets them right where they need to be met. And apparently there are a lot of this. I don't know. Those of you that will watch this video after that know and love and adore me, like, you know, you can't see the comments, but just know that they're insane. They're crazy. They're kids. Like, if you're not kids, I'm concerned for you and your ability to pay your bills. Oh no, sweetie, you're in my space. You're in my stream, on my channel and my vibration. And through the process, you've already interacted with all the spiritual guardian teams, including your own, that just changed your vibration. You've already been changed. Can't take it back. Can't take that back. You're welcome, by the way. That phrase, Delulu, I've never used that before. Should I use that? I don't think I can use that. I'm not 15. It's like a funny phrase. Oh my gosh. What experience do I wish to create right now? Ice cream! I find plenty of shame in living in your parents' house. Find a way out. Use your spirit. Find a way out. You can lean on people for assistance, but there's a point where adulting is just an absolute necessity. And I can say that because of my background. Oh, I saw that one. What got me into meditation? Thanks. I would love to answer that. You guys, not that I have to say this either, but like if you live with your parents for like my best friends live with their parents because they're taking care of them. Like, don't take this out of context. Those of you that know me know that I'm a kind human. I'm also a tough love coach. Like, I'm gonna say what needs to be said. Okay, what got you into meditation? Spirit kicked me into yoga classes first. So I was very this is when I was younger. I was very like anti-meditation, anti-yoga. I was like, I'm not doing any of that because I didn't grow up in a family where any of that was okay. And one of my best friends in college just kept saying to me, she was like, I really feel like you need to come to yoga. This was clearly our soul contract. She was like, I just really feel like you need to come to yoga. And I was like, I don't want to be one of those hippies like trying to get a yoga butt. Like, I'm just not here for it. Like, you know, she actually met me with her inner child. We got coffee one day. I'm going to tell you the long story of how I got into meditation because this is the truth. This is my authenticity. We got coffee one day and she just on the side of the road, she was like, can I just show you something? And I was like, what? She was like, we learned how to do headstands in yoga yesterday. And I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. And she was like, well, let's do headstands. And I was like, what do you mean, right here? And she was like, yeah. So we, on the side of the road, she taught me how to do a headstand. And people were driving by and honking at us. And somebody like got out of the car and was like, are you doing headstand? It was cute. It was cute. And I was like, wow, this was so fun. And I looked at her and I was like, okay, I'll come to yoga. And I went to the first yoga class and it was just life-changing, honestly. We did, it's Ashtanga, so I did an Ashtanga Vinyasa flow. Not like this basic stuff. I don't know how to describe. I went to the studio that she brought me to is a real original, like just is so blessed. I was so blessed. I was clearly meant to land into this particular practice. We did meditation and that's where I started doing meditation. And I realized through meditating in Ashtanga yoga practice, at that point I had a lot of depression and I had a lack of motivation. I also have ADHD. I didn't know it when I was younger, but the meditation also helped. It helped me focus. And I noticed a huge difference for me when I started meditating to the point where I would tell people about it. I'd be like, yo, you probably need to meditate. Maybe come meditate with me or like think about meditating, because I saw my mood change drastically. I was like, oh, I'm not really depressed when I meditate. I was like, I feel like I can handle my life when I meditate. And intuitively, I didn't know I was accessing my higher self, but intuitively, I was able to manifest things that I needed very quickly materially. I didn't relate it to meditation, but it was a result of the meditation. And I can explain that right now, is that when I started meditating, what happened is I started slowing down my thoughts. I started becoming mindful. I started practicing mindfulness. I started being in observation. And when you stop rushing your thoughts and rushing the emotions on subconscious autopilot, where you're not paying attention to anything, it leaves a lot of room and breath for spirit, especially paired with an asana practice, yoga. And spirit just started filling me. It's nice to speak about it from this position because I didn't know this when I was younger, but spirit started filling me. I would naturally just receive inspiration. I naturally be like, I'm gonna go make 60 paintings and do an art show. I did like, that was that period of my life. I did like 24 art shows in 24 months in the Northeast, and I produced hundreds of pieces in 2 years and sold a lot of them, many of them. And even that like didn't make any sense to me. That came from spirit. Like spirit was naturally leading me forward without me knowing that that was how spirit was working. I was just like, I think I need to do this. I can't remember if my car broke down or so. I was like, oh, I need a car. And my family was like, well, you're not gonna be able to get a car. And I was like, no, I think it's gonna be fine. That's like when spirit fills that space, you become a power manifester automatically, naturally. And I was like, no, I think I'm gonna be fine. I'm just going to get the car. It's going to be great. And one of my friends, another bestie from college who I think I was living with at that point, like his dad came to visit, and his dad brought us out to lunch, and he was like, I hear you need a car. I was like, oh. And he had the car I wanted. He sold it to me for $1. Like, and then I traded that car out when the clutch finally broke down, and I bought this bracelet with it. I have my manifestation living on my wrist right now of my car and of my dreams and of my spirit. So that's my fun description of what got me into meditation. I did not get into meditation to do anything. I didn't start meditation because I wanted to. Spirit kept coaxing me into it. Spirit was like, get to the yoga class. I finally made it to the yoga class, and I was like, oh, this is enjoyable. Like, this is fun. And then I got obsessed with meditation, and all I wanted to do was teach meditation. But this is the difficulty with authenticity, is I wasn't ready to be authentic. I couldn't hold that in my vibrational frequency. I didn't feel safe with authenticity. I had many, many, many masks, as everyone does. So I didn't receive a lot of support around this version of myself. Maybe a friend here or there. What I really wanted to do, it's funny that I'm in this, not funny, but I mean, it's like real that I'm in this career now, because what I really wanted to do was go to schools and teach meditation. That was going to be my yoga, what do you call it? My like closing yoga project. I was like, I'm going to create this website to teach people how to meditate. Nobody knows how valuable it is. This is like in 2008. Like, I was like, this is what maybe 2007. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. And I was like, I'm going to be a yoga teacher. And then other people's opinions. People I cared about slaughtered it. They were like, you're not a meditation teacher. You have a college degree. You're not going to teach people meditation. That's unacceptable. That doesn't make us look good. So I started bringing shame into my yoga practice. And I was like, oh, nobody's going to like this. I started hiding it. I continued to do it by myself. But you know, if I could go back, hindsight's 2020, this is the most authentic version of me. If I could go back, I would have taught yoga. I would have taught yoga during and out of college, and I just would have called it a day. I didn't even need that degree, by the way. For anyone that needs to hear that, like, if I can go back and do it again, I don't know that I would go to college. That's a very unpopular opinion, and I do appreciate my education and my degree, but I think I'm smarter than what college gave me, and I think I would have found my way through, because that's who I am. That's naturally who I am. It's funny for me to say that publicly. Somebody definitely clearly needed to hear that. And for those of you that don't want to hear that, don't worry about it. This is literally it's my authenticity. And you guys know I'm channeling too. So there are specific messages that are coming through this channel that need to be heard by specific people. Of course, I endorse higher education completely. But for me, I don't know that I needed it. I think I needed a yoga education, and I think I needed to teach yoga and like move to Bali. But she wasn't ready to be authentic because I didn't have the support. I had antichrist around me. I had the anti that. So it got squashed out really fast. It's so funny when you become so awake and so aware. Like, if I could, and I can do it now in my time space and my timelines and heal these parts of myself. But if I could go back and change my trajectory at 19, I 1000% would. And I'd be like, do this, don't do that. Do this, stay away from them. Stay away from them. Stay away from them. Do not confess your love to that boy. Like, do not do that. Like, that's going to end terribly. He's going to control you with it. Tell him to take a hike. This is me talking to my 19-year-old self. Like, that boy that was really sweet. You know, it's like, well, that was younger. That was my 16-year-old self. You guys are just getting the real deal right now because I'm just enjoying the stream. If I could go back, I'd be like, I would retrain my relationships. I'd be like, that when you were 16, that boy was a sweet boy. I just didn't know. I didn't know that he liked me until it was like too late, because other of my friends were like making fun of him. It's always other people's opinions. That's what it is. I would have had the like boyfriend that I wanted at 16. I had another, whatever. There were other things that went on, but I would have had the highest, I don't know what, I don't want to say pick, but highest timeline. We're always navigating time. I would have had the highest timeline had I known to stay away from other people's opinions and chosen what I wanted, which felt genuine. I would have had the highest timeline, college and thereafter, by choosing what I wanted to do and doing it, which is I wanted to leave the private school. I wanted to go to a public school. There's probably a funding issue there. Maybe that's why I didn't do it. But I wanted to go to the public school because it had 20,000 people. And I wanted to be around many, many, many more people instead of the 2,000 that I was in with. They had a much better music program. There were just so many different decisions I would have made. I would have gone and finished the yoga degree, and I would have immediately started teaching yoga. I went to go do bartending, and because of everybody's freaking opinions, and I got my training in bartending, and there was a really upscale bar that was going to hire me, and because of all these opinions, they were like, "Don't take it." Like I would have been able to work my way through all that shit in school. Instead, I was working at a rock climbing gym, which just doesn't pay the way bartending pays. Like it's like, there were just so many opinions, and I guess what I would say is, for me, I knew my natural path automatically. I knew what the right decisions were for me, but I had no trust in that because I had no experience. Welcome to everyone that's young. What do they say? Youth is wasted on the young. It's like, oh my gosh. Is this called a super chat? Thank you, JR. Oh my gosh, you guys. So this is my long live streamy chat on Stormy's 16 to 24-year-old self. I would teach yoga. I would have taught meditation. I would have been running workshops and retreats. You know, it took me living other people's dreams, doing what everybody else told me to do, other people pointing out my strengths, instead of me knowing my strengths, which were my pure desires authentically, like I knew. And even as I'm describing this now, I haven't thought about this stuff in a long time. I remember the feeling I had in my body. It was out of my heart space, and it is Break the Mold. I teach this in Break the Mold, my radical authenticity program. So I'm so happy this is all syncing up the way it does with spirit. Is that those impulses are a specific emotional signature, emotional frequency, spiritual frequency, that now when I look back, I can see how I could have made all the right decisions. I just didn't know enough, because everyone and their mom has an opinion. Some of them are very aggressive about their opinions. Depending on how many people you have with personality disorders around you, they are very aggressive with their opinions. So the combination of what I'm helping everyone in Break the Mold do is to understand how their heart speaks to them, how the soul speaks through the heart, through the inner child, how to know and trust those impulses, how to make the right decisions, how to be confident with those decisions, and how to thwart off bullshit, because it comes in huge waves. And it becomes, this is what I was talking about in the beginning of the stream, for those of you that have traveled the full way with me, is that when you do a lot of robust spiritual work the way that I do, whenever you claim something good, whenever you have, your heart is like, go do this, there are a million things that try to steal it, hurt it, contain it, move it, force it, because that's just the way life works, and humans just don't know it. So you end up kind of just going with the flow. Oh, I'll take some of these opinions because they're related to me. I'll take some of these opinions because I'm in love with them. Like, I'll take some of these opinions. And then you end up in an amalgamation of a mess of your life until you hit some level of a midlife crisis, right? Or I had a quarter life crisis, like, where it's like, oh, snap. I wouldn't say I've been living other people's lives. I've been living my own life, but it was much harder because I didn't have hindsight. I didn't have the hindsight. I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. But I can tell you that other people's opinions are absolutely stealing your life force and forcing you to make decisions behind the scenes that you would not make and that are not in your best interest, which is why I keep other people's opinions out of my sphere. I don't invite any. My feedback is just me and spirit. And then if there are occasionally like little things here and there that I want to ask, I will, but I don't really need a lot of feedback because my relationship with spirit is that spirit, as a shaman, like I'm constantly working with the feedback of the mirrors of the universe. So I don't need someone to tell me something to change or do with myself. Like I've already perceived the mirroring from God. So I know it's from God and not someone else's projection on me and how to change my life. And the sweetest, most loving people that you think love you or that do love you to a certain degree will try to change your life to meet their needs, not yours. And that's why authenticity, radical authenticity, is so important. Because if you don't understand and you don't embody radical confidence and radical authenticity, you are living someone else's life. And I can't sugarcoat it. I'm being honest with you guys because I truly believe that we learn the best from honesty. I could sugarcoat it and be like, follow the path, you'll find your way. Like, maybe. I don't like maybe. I'm not one that likes maybe. And I've made enough mistakes and I have enough experience. I have real hard life experience. I did not short my experiences by any means. I've got a full breath, full range. I can relate to pretty much anyone. Where I can truly say, you're going to need to fight. You need to fight for your own authenticity and you need to understand your own authenticity. And it's a constant sorting process of relationships, of people, of emotions, of events, of decisions every day. Is this authentic to me? Is it not? Do I like this? Do I not like this? Does this feel right? Does this not feel right? Does this also meet my needs or is it meeting someone else's needs? Is it meeting someone else's needs for a time being until I can meet my own needs? Because God knows we all have big transitions. You know, when you're in relationship transitions, job transitions, career transitions, life transitions, you know, you are prioritizing other people's needs as well as your own, but that's within the transition period as you wean your way out to then reprioritize yourself and your needs. Because again, I say this in a lot of my streams, but not to be confused with narcissism, because I know everybody confuses narcissism with, I'll call it self-worship, self-love, self-acceptance. Narcissism's really given a bad name to it actually, but they're very different things. Authenticity is you being in total, complete self-sovereignty. It's you running your ship, the ship of your life. No one else can run it for you. No one can run it for you. It's never going to be easy. It's always going to require supreme responsibility. There's no easy way of me saying that. Again, you guys, like, I'm going to be the tough love coach. I have to be real because I truly believe that if people understood the truth of the stakes of what is actually necessary, I think they could choose to either just consciously be like, I'm just going to stay asleep. Or they would consciously be like, oh my gosh, okay, that's what's involved. Well, I need to prepare myself for that. I think a lot of spiritual journeys, a lot of life journeys are painted to be more go with the flow. When you just go with the flow, you're flowing with anything. It's not necessarily your life path. It's not necessarily your life purpose, and you may very well likely be living out other people's dreams, not your own. Because the flow might not support you. Only your higher aspects can support you. And your higher self, your higher soul, can support you through flow, but that flow is your flow, not to be confused with going with the flow of the universe. Because when we work with elementals, as a shaman, I'm working with the elements. They're the foundational creators of material reality. When you move with the flow, you're flowing somewhere. You're going down the river, but it might not be the river you want to be on. It might not be the life path you want to be on. You might be in the total wrong location for the sorts of strengths and training that you have, either as a human or as a soul. Wrong place, right, wrong time, go with the flow, like, good luck. I don't know what else to say. Right place, right time, right flow with yourself. Maintaining your core authentic value. Understanding your radical authenticity. You get perfection. You get your life path, you get your destiny, you get your purpose. It's so funny because I'm reading the gray. I'm talking through the gray in between because I have complete understanding of this gray territory of frequency. But it's almost like, even just me saying it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if anyone's going to get that code. It's a complicated code, you know? It's just like, I see so much. I understand how the code works, how the larger code works. I work with it. So, all that to say, radical authenticity. If you can, I mean, all of my programs serve a particular purpose, spiritually and materially. With this program particularly, what I would say is if you can manage your radical authenticity, if you can manage and understand your confidence and channel it, you can get through the other stuff. People start at different places with me. A lot of people start with me in Akashic Records, which is the crown channel. It's opening up the third eye, psychic vision. With my money program, that's about embracing your lower chakras. That's about embracing your primal power and understanding how to move primal power instinctively and creatively into material wealth, into money, creation, perceiving opportunity and creating with it. Break the Mold is the program from the heart and the solar plexus that teaches you how to maintain who you are through every storm life will throw at you as a human. And it is a very spiritual program. There are a lot of spiritual downloads. I go through, every module has meditations that are energy awakenings, energy activations that actually turn on your cellular memory and DNA. I speak from a spiritual perspective. I am a channel. This program, because you guys will see me channel in some videos, right? This program, it is of course channeled, but I pre-planned it all like I was writing a book. So it's much more mentally planned, which is nice. And then I added in channels after the fact. So there's new streams that I added into the program recently, into the module, so you guys can get my flow now and the structure of the map to the self that I created. It's so funny because when I say confidence, like people are like, oh, confidence. Okay, it's like a nice to have. It's like a bumper sticker. And it's like, confidence is your money. Like it's your money. It's your ability to see and perceive value, your ability to see and perceive opportunity, your ability to see and perceive your strengths and understand how to navigate them. So I'm going to give you another quick example here, and then we'll see how much longer I go. I'm just kind of like riding the fact that I have 125 people in the room. Like, it just feels nice. Let me think. What was I going to say? Another example. As I said that, I lost my example. Look what you guys did. What is the message? The message is go and roll and break the mold. Check out the description. There's a promo code down there. About meditation again, did you start buying crystals or start eating healthy as well? Yeah, absolutely. I forget about that stuff a lot because it's so inherently in my personality. I started juicing and I still juice. Like I juice every single day. I fine-tuned my diet heavily and I eat on that current diet today. So I go very low to no sugar. I have very little carbs. I eat a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, a ton of vegetables. I eat a lot of lentils. I have a very whole food, clean diet. I don't eat any dairy. I don't eat gluten. I don't eat rice. I don't eat corn. I don't eat shellfish. I don't eat meat. I eat fish occasionally. What else did you ask? Hold on. Buying crystals. Yeah, dude, like I worked at a crystal shop. I did start buying crystals. I am loaded with crystals. I could probably teach about crystals at some point. It's just something that's covered by a lot of other people, so I prefer to cover the channeling aspects, but yes, crystals are an important part of my practice. They hang out and raise my vibration. I've got another one back here I can show you guys. Oh gosh, I was going to go on another positive rant. What was I going to say? Look at that rainbow. I was going to give an example. Spirit, do you want to bring me back to the example? She's holding the frequency for the whole room. I forgot the example. Maybe it'll come back up. I got distracted. Oh my gosh. I don't think I asked for anyone to subscribe. Subscribe. If you like this sort of content. If you don't, then peace out. I don't know what else to say. I do live stream fairly frequently. Feel free to turn on your notifications. Oh my gosh, look at all these crystal comments. Where did these come from? Look how many critical people there are in here too. I feel bad for you guys. Like, being critical means like A, you've got a tough life, or B, it's about to get really, really hard. Just real. All right, Spirit, is there anything else you want to bring through? Oh, thank you. Clear channel. Authenticity is about maintaining your own value, being able to see through the lens and the eyes of your source, your soul, your true authentic purpose in this life, which has absolutely little to nothing to do with how you were raised and what is surrounding you. Very frequently, the spiritual purpose, the authentic purpose that actually would move you onto your destiny path, that would give you everything that you're meant to have in this life, is very, very different than the life you've lived and how you've been conditioned. That is what creates the drastic dark nights of the soul for most people that begin their awakening. For once you start your awakening, it begins to create a crevice between what you've lived and creates a gap between the false self and the higher self, which you then begin to occupy, at least in practice, working to occupy through your ascension practice, through your spiritual work, which really should be never ending, and you should have a daily practice, no matter what that practice is, whether you go to church, whether you meditate, whether you do yoga, eat healthy, whatever your practice is, you need a daily practice. Like, you shower every couple of days, you need a spiritual practice every couple of days. Like, this is not stuff you set and forget. I'll say that much. I forget to touch on that sometimes, but I see that I have a very new room, so we're touching on some more beginner stuff here. I don't have time for your nastiness, you guys. Just shove it. Right up where the sun don't shine. You're in my room. You're in my room. Thank you. I'm glad you came across me as well. We can agree that you're feeding me your energy. Like, you're literally like, I don't think there's an agree to disagree. I don't even know you. You're watching me. And I'm happy you are. Welcome. Oh my gosh, let me jump back into my channel. Okay, so with the authenticity, it's about being able to perceive what is real and what is not. This world is steeped in falsehoods and false realities. It is created in the matrix. It is meant to hold you into a matrix and thought and belief. The challenge of what it is to be human, and the reason why you guys came here in your incarnation, why you chose to be human for one degree or another, whether you actually chose it or were tricked into it, is because you wanted to learn how to break free from what the matrix thinking is, to literally break that mold. Because in order to access your spiritual self, you are following a different path. They are not related to the way you were raised. That was the example I was going to give. Thank you. When I was growing up, everyone was like, you're meant to be a teacher. Quite literally. They were like, you're meant to be a teacher. You need to be a teacher. really, I mean, I went through my marketing career because that's where other people placed me in strengths in college. This stuff makes me, I get so angry when I think about how many other people's opinions, just like they were so aggressive and authoritative around me. Like I was meant to be a musician. And all of I should have just changed schools. Like my professors and stuff were just like, they were like, you're meant for marketing. And I was like, I'm more talented than half the people here. You're just not fucking placing me in. I went to one of the top music schools, not music school. I went to one of the top high schools, like in New York for music. Like I competed, like I was good. And then I went to college. It was a mess. So anyway, they all conditioned me. They were like, you're not meant for this career. You should go to marketing. Then other people told me marketing. Then I was like, okay, I'll do marketing. So then I worked through marketing. That was a whole lot of people's opinions. Was I made for it? Like, yeah, I do think I was made for marketing because of their skills that I grew up with. Then the skills earlier in my life, they were like, you're meant to be a teacher, because I started teaching skiing when I was 13. And that was a big manifestation moment, actually. I'll describe this for anyone that this resonates with. It feels relevant in a nonlinear way for someone. These are manifestation skills that you'll know that you had when you were a kid. So when I walked into that room, it was highly competitive. And they were like, you might not get the teaching spot. I was 13. And the benefit of being a ski instructor is that, I don't know that my parents had the funding available for me to do skiing otherwise. The benefit is if you teach, you get everything for free. I taught. I made money. And I got all of I got all of my ski instructions. Like I'm a very proficient skier and snowboarder. So anyway, I got like marked for teaching. They're like, you're meant to be a teacher. That shit did not go well, by the way. When I got to college, like did not go well. I dropped my education major. I was a double major, education and music. I was going to be a music teacher. I dropped education because it was like clear as day. I was not meant to be in that field. Like clear as day. I'm way too open-minded of a thinker to be stuck in an educational field. And then when I was a kid, I applied for Teach for America like 4 years in a row. And this is Spirit, by the way. For those of you that have done things like this, I'm just reaching on these examples. Spirit wants me to show them, so I'm talking about them. I don't need to necessarily, but it'll match for someone in the room. I applied for Teach for America 4 years in a row. I think a couple times a year, because everyone was like, you should do this, go into the inner city schools, teach English or music or art, and like build your career that way. I never saw myself as a teacher. Of course I am a teacher, like this is literally my career, but not in the way that I was targeted. I never saw myself that way. I just was listening to what everybody else was drowning. They were drowning out my voice with theirs. So I tried to do it, and I just like, Spirit was not having it. This is my perspective now looking back. Like Spirit was like, you are not gonna be a teacher in inner city schools in New York City. Like this is not what you're doing. It was so blatantly obvious, like the rejections I received and stuff, and they never hurt either. I was just like, yeah, whatever. I mean, I don't think I'm supposed to do this. But it's like the amount of effort I put in to please other people around me that were just about forcing me to do it. There are just so many decisions that were other people's decisions. They were never my decisions. If I were left to my own devices when I was younger, I would have beelined straight for my destiny, because it's just part of who I am. I know what I need to do when I need to do it. I know how to flow. I know how to be authentic. I had to spend the last 15 years shedding other people's bullshit out of my energy. Other people's thoughts, ideas, opinions, their trauma, their control, their abuse patterns. And that is what I built Break the Mold out of. It's 15 years of that experience of me learning what's me, what's not me. How do I know? What are the right decisions truly? How do you make the right decisions? How do you know what they feel like? How do you know? How do you know it's right? How do you trust that? That's Break the Mold. I built it all into the program to help every aspect of my development that I went through, where I was taking in all these other opinions because I had to. I didn't know any better, didn't have the experience. And I would say it ruined my life because I think it did. I've also always been in the driver's seat. I feel like I've been managing the ruined parts. That's like the shitty karma. That's the generational karma, the generational hexes, curses, spiritual abuse, actual abuse, all of these different things that I had to navigate that were holding me into these patterns of belief and of karma that I was a sort of person that I was not. Like when I look back, I really was being trained to be a teacher. I was never meant to be a school teacher. Never. Never. I had one of my professors pulled me aside. This is how spirit talks, by the way. When something is off track and off balance, spirit will tell you through other people. One of my professors pulled me aside and was like, "You were never meant to be a teacher." And I was like, "I think you're right. But my parents are making me do this." And then freshman year, one of the girls that lived next to me knocked on my door and she was like, "You'd be a terrible teacher." And I was like, I mean, I don't know. I taught a lot of 3-year-olds how to ski. They always gave me to the kids because it was so fun to work with. But like, I taught kids all the way through adults, like in their 50s, like how to parallel ski. And snowboard, which is funnier with adults. It's a little harder. You know, I had so many people tell me when it wasn't my life path, and I had so many people guide me to my life path. Like my friend that continually brought me back to the yoga class was very avid about it. That was spirit. That was my higher self moving through her to me saying, "Please get into yoga. Get out of teaching. You do not belong in inner city schools. Like, that is not your vibe. Like, get out." And the beauty of the synchronicity of how spiritual work works, if you don't force shit, is that my higher self gave no paths into teaching. Like, gave me solid rejections over and over and over again. Even to the point where, like, my junior year of college, I had a lightning strike moment. This was my higher self occupying my body, where I just came into my awareness. There were enough signs about education where I was just like, I'm not meant to be a teacher. And the next day, this is how I knew it was my power. The next day, I went wherever I needed to go on campus, and I was like, "Hey, I want to drop my major." And they were like, "Oh, okay, cool." Then I went to my other major, which was music, and they were like, "You dropped the major. You have to graduate early now." Because of the way the credits accelerated or whatever. So I graduated in 3 years instead of 4, which had another set of traumatic circumstances that I was going to try to stay for another year anyway, because I felt like I needed the development because I was already young. I'm born in the fall, so I was already young for the year. So I graduated before I was even, I was 20. I felt very unprepared for real world. I feel like I could have maybe used that extra, I don't know. I just like, all this stuff is all mixed up. You're just watching me reflect now, but I know it's beneficial for either me or you or all of us in one way or another. Anything that's offensive, like just, how do I, you guys, get out. Also, I don't know if you guys let me know this or not, but this does feel like a younger crew. So maybe you guys are in this point. Kimmy, I am so happy to see you. Aww. So I'll give you the example. So I graduated in 3 years. That was me sidestepping my guidance. I really wanted to stay an extra year. I felt like I needed the extra year. I skipped my music performance because I was nervous about it, and I had performance anxiety, and I knew I needed another year to practice. So there were it's just like, it's all of these stories that I'm telling you guys all have to do with when you fuck up your life because of other people's opinions. And can you course correct? Yes, but it just might not be what you want. I course corrected to marketing, and I think that was a good choice based on what I was given. I course corrected to business. Based on what I was given, I mean, I'm happy with it, but I could have done what I wanted to do. Like that, I could have been happy with that too. And the reason why I didn't is because I had such manipulative, controlling people around me. But ultimately, everybody has some force of something keeping them from doing what they're meant to do, because this world is not geared to keep you on your life path. Humanity, the world, the construct of the matrix is actually geared to take you off your life path. It's here to create the divide between you and your highest, your most high, and you and your relationships. That's what this whole system is. So the reason why souls incarnate and come here on this planet now, today, always, is for the steep challenge of moving through the crazy illusion that any of this shit matters to get on path, to find your life purpose and find your life path. And only you are going to know that. And the only way you're going to know that is by getting in tune and in touch with your own inner instincts, your own heart, your own radical authenticity, and understanding how your spiritual mind works through your body, through your hunches, through your synchronicities, through your relationships, through knowing what to shut down, what boundaries to set, what decisions to make, how to protect those decisions, how to use your voice securely and concretely to set boundaries, to be assertive, to be in self-leadership and self-sovereignty, to know who the fuck you are, to let the fucking past go, to get the fuck out of your way. Stop self-sabotaging, to get fucking present, stop getting your head in the past and future tripping. Those are the first 4 modules. To know what the fuck you want, because you have to get really, really clear. If you don't know what you want, you're going to end up on somebody else's life path. You're going to live somebody else's life. And then at some point you'll be old. And you go, what did I do? And now I got a whole lot more humans around me that I'm not sure if I like or not. I actually won't go into that. I have a lot of things that are funny around that, but you also need to know where the fuck you're going. You have to know the map. The map comes from your higher self. Only your higher self has that map. Nobody else has that map for you. Unless you're working with somebody like me, because I'm trained to be able to see and deliver that. Activating your highest fucking potential. It needs to be activated. It needs to be captured. Almost like a camera. You need to snapshot it. You need to be able to grab it. And you need to be able to get it out into your life. You need to know how to activate it. Activation. It's like a chemical process. It's not dormant and it's not passive. And then tapping into unleashing your fucking power. Understanding how to manage your power. What's too much power? What's too little power? How do you contain your power? Because your power is your fire force. It is your life force. It's your spirit. But it's coming through your lower chakras. It's your fire. When you work with fire, you can burn other people. You can hurt other people. You can hurt yourself in the process. You need to know how to contain and how to expand your fire depending on what you are lacking in and what you have abundance in. Also, becoming radically fucking authentic that's module number 9, is understanding authenticity. Module number 10 is you are a fucking unstoppable force of good. It's understanding that you are a force. You are source. You are the bulldozer through the system in the matrix. There's no other way to get through it. If you want to make a good life, you want to be yourself, and you want to be on your life path, there's going to be a lot of bulldozing. Not forcing. Bulldozing. Selecting the path, knowing that's it, having the power to maintain it, even when everything confronts you and tells you it's the wrong way. The stronger your life purpose, the more distractions that show up on your path to take you off. Like one of the things I heard a lot when I was younger is that I was like a dabbler, that I didn't like focus on one thing. And I couldn't. In hindsight, looking back, I couldn't, because everyone was washing me out. Everyone would criticize everything that I fucking did. So I could never really dedicate to one path. And I didn't have enough power in myself to know how to do that because I didn't have any emotional support. None. So my life purpose was built by me through my process of trial and error, through my process of living life's very hard experiences, through my entire life up until this point, and being generous enough to share and create the maps, because that's my life purpose, is to be this spiritual awakening for others, because I did not have it, and I didn't have any of the support to get me what I need. My support solely came from like the random spirit things, and they were like, gosh, she'll get there at some point. Let's continue to try to crack her alignment back in like a chiropractic adjustment. And then, that other human just sideswiped her power, and now she's not going to get it back for another 3 years or 10 years. Or, there are different aspects of soul retrievals. Oh my God, I do soul retrievals all the time. The soul fragments in every conflict we have where we can't resolve it, especially the deep conflicts, the deep traumas. The soul actually fragments, and you leave a part of your soul in that time space. So you have less power now. And my soul got fragmented so bad, both at the highest levels and the lowest levels, that like I've been on a fucking scavenger hunt my whole life for gifts that I was given when I was born, for power that I was given when I was born. I was born for this, and everybody tried to take it away because that's what the system does. Now, because of the work that I've done to get here, to re-find myself, I have the maps. I don't know if you're like Harry Potter, like what's it called? The Marauders map, right? Like take your wand, see the map, see where you want to go with me. We go down the map, we go down the crazy paths, and I give you the cheat codes to find your treasure, to find your boon. Okay, so that's about being an unstoppable force of good. And day 11, module 11 is your big fucking vision, your North Star. It's understanding that North Star and then keeping it in your vision every goddamn day that you live so you don't get taken off track. Because you do need to build momentum spiritually and practically in order to get your life purpose actualized into your life. And again, there's no lack of conflict. So the faster you can clear the gap in your consciousness of understanding what all of this takes and get the codes in the easy way that I deliver them, right? Like I make spiritual awakening easy just by teaching, taking you through meditations and teaching, which then you gain the knowledge, you let it seep in. It's not just knowledge, it's wisdom, it's embodied. So the way that I teach it makes it even easier for you to understand. And then you integrate it and practice it into your life. And then you don't have to go through the shit that I went through. You go through your own version of whatever you've already been through. But at least in this area, you can kind of lock on and run. And then when you master something, hopefully you'll turn it around and give it to someone, whether it's in your career or in your life, or, and pass it back, because life's hard. Life's hard. Nobody gets out scot-free and nobody gets out alive. So there's that. If you do want to enroll, I'm leaving a link in the description below. It's already there. There's a promo code at checkout. The promo code is authenticity. If you do pay in full, there's a pay in full bonus where I will send you a Break the Mold coffee mug and journal to remind you of your authenticity as you're working yourself through the process. It's 12 modules. It's like 26 hours of video content. There are many, many, many journal prompts. This program is a very active emotional exploration on your own time. So I teach you the concepts, then you go through the reflection work. Okay. And then the meditations actually help to heal your energy field, like with any of my programs. Most of my programs are structured roughly the same. There's like lots of big channel teaching work. Then there's always meditations to help do the actual energy work. And then I generally incorporate reflections. This program just has a lot of journal prompts and a lot of journal reflections. Is there anything else I want to say? Let me think. I'm so happy I built this program when I did. I could not have taught this now. I would teach it from a much more elevated position now. And I would forget to include the step-by-step process of what it actually feels like when you are actually being confronted through your process of very newly becoming confident and secure in your skin and authentic in who you are. I'm so happy I shot this program when I did, because I'm able to speak to all of you that are just moving into this work. If I taught this program now, I would forget the little steps, which is literally why I built a program when I did. I didn't have to, and I thought about it over and over again, and I was like, this is the map. I have to build it while I'm doing it. I have to, because I'm gonna forget. I'm just gonna like be authentic. Like I'm just gonna be myself, and people are gonna be like, oh my God, she's glowing. She was always this way. I'm like, no, my life was a fucking shit show. And this week, I'm so real with you guys. You get the full authentic me. Maybe we need to pull the ice cream back out. This week, I had to process, oh, I ruined my life. Sit with that. I didn't really, but like, well, depends on which side of the spectrum you look at. When you get all these awakenings overnight, immediately, it's just like, oh my God. It's so obvious because hindsight's 20/20. It's so obvious from here. My life could have been so easy had I known, had I had any level of expert guidance. That's not what life is though, yeah? I'm not gonna hold that perspective very long. That's just something I'm working through. But it's like, that's not what life is. Life is the purpose of actually going through all of it, fucking it all up. I love the idea that I fucked my life up because I actually think I did. I went against my own personal guidance for myself over and over and over again because I didn't want to upset the people around me because the people around me were very aggressive. And is that my fault? No. Can I level with myself and be patient, loving, and caring, and guiding myself through that process because I didn't really make those decisions? Like, yes, but I wish I just went for it. I had it in me. I had it in me. And I'm going to be real honest with you guys. I grew up in a lot of danger. And I had this power in me. And that danger would have had nothing on me if I just trusted this power. Nothing. That's how powerful I was. That's how powerful many of you are in this room. Those of you that resonate with my work, that do need to hear, just fucking go for it. When you give any of these people, any of these dangerous things, when you give any of it any energy, you're sending your power to it, and that is what supplies it with its dangerous, chaotic ability to harm you. It's never actually them. It's the fact that you are powerful. And when you act in fear, you transfer your own power to them, which is what they need to survive. That's what they need. It's called narcissistic supply. Personality disorder supply. Give them nothing. They have nothing. You have everything. Go claim your power. If I could go back in my life, and I'm not a person that regrets anything I've ever done, but I've been processing all this week, I'm like, oh God, it's so, like I could have, I would change a lot. I would change a lot. I would give no fucks. I would give no fucks because I was already kind of there. I was kind of there. I had a lot of power as a kid. I was kind of there, but I really would have had to commit because if I started like showing that level of power when I was younger, I would have been met with the whole force of what was, and clearly that's why I did it this way, right? But I would have been met with the whole force of what has taken me 15 years to unpack in a year. Ultimately, it happened anyway. Dark nights of the soul are not pretty. They're not pretty. Happened anyway. I have a lot to say on spiritual awakening. I'm actually really happy the stream unpacked this way. Very interesting. You guys got to know a different side of me. The side of me that says no regrets and regret everything and just make new decisions and be the power player. If I could teach the 16-year-old in me, I would be like, make the power moves. They're all these people that you're going to piss off are going to be pissed off anyway. They're dedicated to being pissed off. They hate their lives. If they're not pissed off at you, they're going to be pissed off at somebody else. They're looking for a reason to be upset and miserable. So don't play small to meet their misery, to join them. Oh, you're accepted for the moment. Going back, I don't know who needs it, but it's like so cute. Like the guy that had a crush on me when I was like 16. It's like going back to that, and it's like, oh, like for the moment, like I pleased my friends. This was a skier versus snowboarder thing too. There's always rivals. He was a snowboarder. These were skiers. I pleased my skier friends. It's so funny. It's like, but I could have just done what I needed to do. I could have just, it's just like, that's just a very small example, but it feels so meaningful because when you have like your first loves or your first falling in love, your first love, your first reflection on that, it's like that sets the stage for how you love and how you love what you do. If you look at your relationships, like you'll see exactly how you handle your career and how you handle yourself. And I was being shown, like, do you want other people to like you or this one boy to like you that like I didn't know I liked? Like, so it's like, it's just a whole lot of lack of experience. It's funny. It's funny. That example feels so present. I feel like that's of high service to many of you. You know why? Because it's such a base human example. Like everyone remembers their first like solid, I don't know what I'd call it. I don't really have a crush on him. That was the issue. I didn't realize, but then after I did, I was like, oh, but wait, but I like you. But it's too late now. I was like, man, I made all my friends happy. And now that I'm looking at them, I think they're assholes. But they're not the rebellious type. If you guys know skiers versus snowboarders, the skiers are like they got the sticks up their ass. There's no other way to say it. The snowboarders are all like the tatted up rebels, like drummers, like just like grungy. Yeah. So they were already in conflict. They're like, you're riding the chairlift with him. Like, I was like, oh, I don't know. He asked me to ride the chairlift with him like every day for 3 weeks. Like, oh, it's funny. It's funny. I feel like more people should share stories like this too. I know, like, you know, I know the way that I do things is a little bit different in general. I think storytelling and past life, whatever you've experienced in this life, is so powerful. I really do think we learn the best through stories, as opposed to me telling you like step by step, do this, and this mentally, or try to reverse engineer my content from ChatGPT. I can't do it. I asked ChatGPT for things and I'm like, that is absolutely not how you build confidence. I'm like, that is irrelevant. Thank you, ChatGPT, for not understanding the human experience and for just spitting out everybody else's thoughts to me. I knew that was not a good idea. Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna lie, this room is full, so I just like want to sit here for another hour, but it's probably a good time to wind this down. Let me just get you a last message perhaps and tie it up and tie it through. If you are interested in Break the Mold, go ahead and check it out. Email me if you have any questions. I'm happy to discuss. If you are wondering whether or not it's a good fit for you, you can ask me. And or what your intentions are or what you're looking to do with your life. I will be very honest and say whether or not that this would work for you. Also, my source code framework program is the Feminine Ascension program, and that is open right now as well. And if you enroll in source code framework with the pay in full option, you will get Break the Mold complimentary. So you can get both programs and marry them together because they are very complementary. They're like sister, brother, counterpart programs. We're good for another hour. That's great. Your ascension practice is in your own hands. That's what Spirit's saying to me. Choose wisely. I gave you a lot of wisdom in this random 2-hour ice cream stream. Not that many people will actually string it together. This was a lot of wisdom. For those who sit through it and put it together, that's a lot of wisdom. I'm going to be talking about this stuff on stage. Public speaking. This is the sort of wisdom I would share. I think I'm going to string some of these stories together. I think they're really powerful. I think I can develop them. Anyway, eat it up. Enjoy it. That's some soul food. My programs are much more structured. This was fun, though. And I will see whether or not I do it again. Thank you for joining me, you guys. If you haven't subscribed and you resonate with spiritual ascension content, please go ahead and subscribe, like the video, drop a real comment below as opposed to the live stream comments. I loved the meditation questions. Ask me things like that or any of my stories. I like sharing my experience. I think that's more valuable than telling you what to do, generally speaking. For something like this, my programs are very structured. Okay. You'll have to go back and watch the wisdom. Thanks, Kimmy. Absolutely powerful. We do the thing. I feel like I ran a marathon. My guides told me that before I jumped on today. They were like, they said, run, Forrest, run. And I was like, what? They were like, run, Forrest, run. And I was like, what are you saying? They were like, you're marathoning. And I was like, I don't know what that means. What do you mean? What do you mean? I was like, I'm just getting ice cream. This whole thing is hilarious, which is why I love it. That's why I love it. The more you guys, the people that have been following me, like, get to know me, it's like, if I can random place things together and like really dramatically enjoy myself, I will. Okay, that's what I got. Enjoy your evening, my loves. Yeah, that's it. That's what I got. See y'all soon. I look forward to seeing you in Break the Mold and Source Code. I look forward to seeing you on the channel. Bye.